Vanderberg's here hollering that you're his lawyer, are you?
All right, Lieutenant. I'll be right down.
Here, Gordon.
And just who are you?
I'm her brother. Maris, charge them with false arrest.
Finish that deposition, then you can bring all the charges you like. Maris, come over here. This whole thing is stupid. Tony went to Gail's apartment looking for the stolen loot that hasn't been found yet.
He broke in and she caught him?
She and Gordon. Gordon carries a gun. He's got a permit, so Tony had to wait for us.
Were there any jewels?
Unfortunately, no.
Why, unfortunately?
Because John did it, and don't argue with me, Counselor. I know. I'm just a simple policeman.
A good policeman.
Thank you. Simple policeman, however, that goes by the facts. And we've got more than we need for the prosecutor. Item number 1. Vandenberg's account book. They're borrowed right up to the hilt, and John has been doing most of the borrowing. Item number 2. Expert opinion. Proving that the burglar alarm was fixed and the store was entered with a key. Obviously an inside job. Item number 3. A little pillbox with a blood red ruby found at the scene of the crime. I know you don't think it's much of a clue, but add them all together.
And you figure that in his scuffle with the watchman, he dropped them.
I know what you're thinking. If John dropped this, why didn't he hear it? A man who panics wouldn't hear a thing, believe me.
All right, but I'd like to talk to John.
God. Mr. Maris, to seat John Vandenberg. Come in, Mrs. Vandenberg, and cook. And the counselor. Well, looks like I hit the jackpot. Mrs. Vandenberg, these suitcases here, they're yours?
Well, yes.
You're going on a trip?
No, I'm not.
Really? Well, come here a minute. These clothes, are they yours?
Yes, but I never packed them.
Really? Cook. That gun you carry, you got it with you? Let me see it. Are you a smart guy? You always carry this?
I'm scared of the dark. I get panicky in lonely places.
You were picked up twice for armed robbery, right? Once in Chicago and once in New York. I checked.
I was released both times.
Insufficient evidence, which doesn't mean you were innocent.
Well, it sure doesn't mean I was guilty.
The watchman was slugged with a blunt instrument. This gun makes a very good blunt instrument.
Well, this time you're dead wrong.
You hope so. Mrs. Vandenberg, come over here a minute. You know anything about these?
I never packed those clothes, and I've never seen those jewels before in my life.
All right, if you didn't pack them, who did?
You. You packed those suitcases and hid the jewels in them.
Oh, cut it out, sis. You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, don't I? You've been taking advantage of me for years.
Knock it off. Officer, take those 2 downstairs to the car. Charlie, take those other suitcases downstairs.
Yes, sir. Brother Tony.
Yeah. How long have you suspected him?
Since we both realized the pillbox was planted.
Tony never expected the police to be involved. He expected to keep it a family affair.
The jewels would be gone. He'd arranged for John to find them on Gail, and then Tony would play the outraged and sympathetic brother.
Right, Counselor. The idea was to get rid of Gail so Tony could go on living an uninterrupted life of easy luxury.
We both know everything, and yet we haven't a shred of evidence to prove it. Call for you, Lieutenant.
Now, this is Weston. When? Thanks, I'll see you in a little bit. Charlie, take care of that suitcase, will you?
Yes, Lieutenant. What?
A watchman. He died 5 minutes ago.
So the charge is murder. Lieutenant, I've got an idea, but I'll need your cooperation.
You always have.
Tony, this is Herb Maris. I have some news for you. Gale and Gordon have been arrested. Your brother's free. Be at headquarters in 15 minutes, and you can drive him home.
What's the play, Counselor?
I'm going to try and force John into a confession.
John?
I hope he loves his wife as much as he says he does.
Okay, Counselor. We're still running neck and neck.
Congratulations, Lieutenant. I understand you've solved the case.
We're having your brother brought in.
I knew you'd come through, Merritt.
Thanks, Tony.
Now, it's a bad family, the Cooks. If John had listened to me earlier, why, all this could have been avoided.
He'll be out in 5 minutes.
What does he mean, Gale is guilty?
The jewels were packed in her suitcase. She was all packed to go away with her brother.
It's ridiculous.
It's more than ridiculous. It's a lie. I didn't have anything to do with it.
What do you mean you didn't have anything to do with it? Your bags were packed and the jewels were found in the bottom of one of them. Don't give me that.
You have to face the facts. It took a lot of strength to knock out that watchman. I suppose she did that, too?
Gordon helped her.
Oh, this is getting funnier and funnier. I know it's hard to believe, John, but you have to see it. Forget her. Get out of this mess. We'll take a trip. Go back to Holland. Shut up, Tony. Just shut up. One more word out of you. Well, tell him, Gale. Go ahead and tell him.
I didn't do it, John.
Facts are facts. Nobody else could have done it.
You're all fools. It was me. I packed those bags. I hid the jewels. John, make out a statement I'll sign. I'm your brother. Listen to me. She's not worth it. Okay, Lieutenant, you can have him take me back now. I'm sorry, darling.
Just a minute, John. You know your confession is no longer for robbery. It's for murder.
Murder?
Yes. The watchman died just a little while ago.
Why don't you get out of here? You smell up the place.
The watchman's dead. He's sure he's dead.
The watchman's dead.
Gentlemen. Never could have worked. I've used my brother. I tried to wreck his marriage. Might have let him go to prison in my place for robbery, but not for murder.
Now you can